Welcome to Explain America. I'm your host, Kyle Becker. The rogue judges are back with a vengeance, and this time it goes right to the heart of the chain of command in Washington, D.C. We're getting to this story, but please first like, share, comment. Join us at Explain America. We appreciate your support. Now, Judge Anna Reyes, a Biden appointee, has stepped into a controversy in the nation's capital. You might remember that earlier this week, Donald Trump federalized the D.C. police and brought in the National Guard to provide some semblance of law and order in the nation's capital. But a judge has stepped in and said, no, not so fast. Even though there's a Home Rule Act that gives the President of the United States 30 days control over the police and the National Guard, we're going to have to change this and take back control, give it back to the D.C. police, including the chief there, Pamela Smith, and you're going to have to make requests with her. And so if this DEI hire likes what you have to say, then I guess she can follow the law. But if she doesn't like what you have to say, well, I guess she can just make it up as she goes along. Now, it's getting really tiresome to see these judges ignore the Supreme Court, ignore legislation like the Home Rule Act, ignore the rule of law, and act outside of their duty as a member of the judiciary branch. The judiciary branch is not the executive branch. I don't know if they're confused or if they just skipped this chapter in law school, but you are not a member of the executive branch. You're not a member of the representative branch. Your job there is to obey the law. And if you can't do that, you should be removed under Article 3 of the Constitution for not acting in good behavior. So Judge Anna Reyes apparently thinks she's above the Constitution, above the law, above the Commander-in-Chief of the United States, and she could play politics with people's lives in D.C. Because here's the thing. When Trump brought in the National Guard, people, the local residents, were liking it on social media. People who actually live in Washington, D.C. were saying, we don't care what the outsiders have to say here. It's been a dangerous city for a long time. And yes, they've been cooking the books in D.C. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. There have been a number of people in the police department in D.C., the Metropolitan Police, who have been busted cooking the books, deflating the statistics to make the department look better than it actually is. Now, why would they do that? Well, certainly they want to keep their jobs, that's true, but it also runs cover for these prosecutors, and in some cities, Soros-funded prosecutors, who don't arrest violent criminals or give them cashless bail, so they're right back out on the streets, they reoffend, and people become victimized because of their stupid politics. Enough is enough with this, with the Biden rogue judges deciding that they were elected co-presidents of the United States. She should not have any say in this if it's covered by the legislation that's there in the Home Rule Act. Trump has 30 days, and it was going through Attorney General Pam Bondi. Everything was fine. Law and order was being restored. And this Biden judge has to stick her nose in this case where it doesn't belong. Well, enough is enough. These judges need to be sanctioned, censored, removed. It's time for the Congress to do something besides look stupid, okay? Just do your job. And there has to be checks and balances. And the judges, they're operating as if there are no checks and balances. So they are trying to implement judicial review where it's not warranted to act as a check and balance. But the Congress is totally absent. What is going on here? Do your jobs. Stop being cowards. The same thing could be said with the Texas Democrats in the state of Texas, where they just fled from their duty. And an arrest warrant is issued. So actually enforce it. You know, enough is enough. Let's stop being a laughingstock of the world here and just do what the law requires. Well, this has been Kyle Becker with Explain America. Weigh in with your thoughts. We appreciate hearing from you. And thank you for your feedback and support.